In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to turn 3 boring bike parts like these into 3 ridiculously awesome bike parts like these. But first, we need to go get some wood.
For all of the demonstration, I'm gonna use a piece of greenwood from this oak right here. We're just gonna lop off this little branch. Won't hurt the tree any, and we can show you all these different cool ways to customize your bike. So it's 2 degrees out here. So let's get this sucker off and head inside. Oh man, it's so cold. Okay, so like I said, there are 3 things that we can make. Those being the headset caps, the valve stem caps, and your cable tie management up in front of the handlebars. This is all gonna be free to use since we're using a branch, so that's pretty cool. And I'm not the best carver ever, but man, these can really be super unique and different looking than anything I've ever seen on a bike. So let's try to make some of these. So the first one we'll start with is the cable tie management. And as we go along, we'll move into the harder, more intricate looking parts on the bike. To start the cable ties, you'll need 2 drill bits that are the same size as your cables or just a hair under. So to find the right bits for this, what I'll generally do is just pick out a bit that's a little bit close to the cable size and just kind of hold it up to it and see if it looks about the same size. That one looks pretty good, so I'll probably use that for my shifting cable size, but you're gonna need to find your other brake cable size as well because these are gonna be different sizes from each other. So I've got one, and let's find one for the hydraulic brake cable. That looks a hair too large, so I'll just go a bit smaller and we should be good. Just hold it up to it, and there you go. So now I've got my 2 bits for both sets of cables, and we can go start to make this. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and cut off a small section of the branch that you cut. I'll probably just end up doing 3 inches because I'm gonna do another leaf, but this kind of varies on what you're going to shape. So just make sure you have enough to work with for your shape. So now that you've got your chunk of wood and your 2 drill bits, we're gonna take it, put it in a vise, and drill our holes. Your goal here is to drill sort of in a straight line with one another. So you'll do 1 hole, move over about a 1/2 inch or 13 millimeters, and drill your other hole, just keeping in sort of a straight line. Okay, change bits. Okay, so now that we've got our holes in our hunk of wood, we're gonna go ahead and split off the backside up to those holes. So depending on where you're gonna carve, like say I want to keep this right side for carving my shape. So what I'm gonna do is come up from my holes and move over a hair and make a split off of this side. Come to this backside, pop a bit off. Those holes starting to peek through, I'm gonna stay away from those now. As those start to come out, avoid them, and then bring your other side down. All right, there they are. So now I'll just take my knife and start to peel them off. Okay, so now that my holes are all poked through and we just got a little fine edge on there, I'm gonna go ahead and test it on the cables and make sure it's working. Put the smaller one onto the smaller one. Hopefully. Nice. You hear that snap? A little bit of a snap, but look, it's still nice and like movable in there. So that's exactly what you want. So let's try the other cable. Nice, that's perfect. From here, you've essentially got it in its usable form. After this, it's all the creative side. So you can shape this little block into whatever you want now. So you can leave it as is and just have a weird little log on the front of your bike, or you can do like I'm about to do, and I'm gonna shape it into another leaf so we're matching over with that one.
Now, I'm not gonna go into detail on how to carve this leaf here so we can get to the other parts, but if you'd like to see how to carve a leaf like this, maybe let me know in the comments and I'll make a separate video about it. So now we can move on to the valve stem caps. In hindsight, these were definitely the easiest to make. You'll end up doing the same method of holding drill bits up, but you'll want to find one that is just a hair smaller than your valve stem. Then you just cut yourself out another chunk of wood and drill a hole about an inch deep.
Okay, so before I move on to shaping this, what I'm gonna do really fast, stick this onto the valve stem and make sure that it fits between the spokes. See how mine doesn't fit between those spokes? I wouldn't be able to spin it on. So I'm gonna make a mark and just trim off that section that's hitting the spokes there. And look, now it actually can spin through those spokes. While I've got this over here, I'm actually gonna go ahead and thread it onto the valve stem. If you did this right with a little bit of pressure, you should just be able to twist this around and then it should slowly thread onto there. Don't rush this because it's actually creating the little divots into the wood as it threads down. If you look extremely closely, you can see that it has threads on the inside of the hole now. If you make that hole just small enough to where it'll thread into there, you'll get that same thing. Quick tip when you're making all of these shapes, always draw what you're going to make onto the wood first. You'll flatten down a side, draw out what you're gonna make, and that's gonna keep you from making the wrong cuts, and it's gonna allow you to take a coping saw or something and cut out all of the waste wood that you're not actually gonna use. So now that we got the shape cut out, it's just a whole lot easier to go back through by hand and trim everything else off from there. Because look, I mean, it's already got the general shape of the axe, and I can just go through by hand and just whittle off the rest. That's actually looking pretty sweet now. I like that a lot.
The valve stem caps are super fun and easy to make, but next up I'm going to show you how to make the headset caps, which in my opinion stand out the most and definitely look really rad with that classic GoPro footage.
Okay, so for these guys you're going to need, or at least you're really going to want, a hole saw. This will kind of get you the whole center of your shape. So we'll just lop out another piece of our log, and then the first thing we'll do is put this into it. Probably go in maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, and that will just tell you where you need to shape your design around.
Well, every time I see the sun, the rooster crows for day.
Once my hole is started, I'll go ahead and cut the rest of the wood off flush with however deep I ended up drilling.
Always looks away. Oh, baby, just hold.
In the end, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. From here, just test your fit, making sure that it slips in easy, but still feels snug.
Essentially just gonna take that little pilot hole that we made and drill that fully through so our screw or our bolt can fit through the whole piece. After that, you shape whatever you want, really.
Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, come back, don't come around no more.
If you watch this and it all seemed a bit overwhelming, stick to the very end of the video and I'll share with you how you can go about winning one of the pieces I made. But I hope you guys found this video useful and fun, because honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing all the crazy wooden bike parts that everyone comes up with after watching this. So if you have Instagram, definitely tag me on your posts and stories there so I can see what you make. If you are having trouble making these, here's a bit of advice you may find useful.
It's definitely very challenging taking a block of wood like this and turning it into an actual shape like this. And if you're struggling with that, I highly recommend you get out a sketchbook and just practice your drawing and sketching technique. And awesomely enough, Skillshare is sponsoring this video, so they've got tons of classes on sketching and drawing, and I'm actually taking a class called Teach Yourself to Draw, a step-by-step process by Hayden Obey, and something like that can just really help you get the fundamentals down of drawing, which comes into play hugely when you're whittling a shape out of a big block of wood like this. Anyway, if you're interested in that, or photography or filming, Skillshare is giving the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description a free trial of their premium membership so you too can explore your creativity. if you like this doopy looking guy, or maybe you really like the axe, you are in luck. So one of my favorite things to do is to find undiscovered artists on Instagram and support them by hiring them to make shirt designs for me. And lately, I've been awful at marketing the shirts, so I haven't been able to support any new artists. But to fix that, we are gonna do this giveaway where if you buy any shirt off of my website, whether that be Ido Rosenbluth's design or Davor Gromlovic's design, buy any shirt by March 3rd, a week from today, and you'll have a chance of winning one of those things we made, whether it be the axe, or you might win the bear or a flower or something. I'll probably make 3 to give away, and if I get bored, maybe I'll make a couple more to give away. Again, just get any shirt and you'll be entered to win. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.